Welcome to Suri Cheating Story, where we share true stories of betrayal in love. Our channel brings heartfelt, real-life experiences from those who have endured the pain of infidelity. Whether you're facing challenges in your own relationship or seeking to better understand the complexities of love and trust, Suri Cheating Story is the place for you. Subscribe now to explore the emotional depths in the path to healing with us. Suri storms through the orchard, the sun blazing overhead like a fierce crown, its golden rays igniting the sprawling rows of apple trees, cherry branches, and grapevines she and Daniel have carved from the earth. Caleb darts ahead, his tiny boots thudding the dirt, his laughter a wild, unbridled spark that pierces the farm's relentless hum. She pauses, sweat streaking her face, her chest heaving as she watches him. 5 years old, a fierce whirlwind of energy, his dark curls bouncing as he chases a butterfly. Her heart thunders, a primal drum beating with a love so fierce it threatens to burst her open. Ethan's ghost is ash, Lila's venom caged, and Caleb's hers, not by blood but by a bond forged in fire, sealed with every tear she's shed, every battle she's waged. Daniel strides beside her, his steady hand brushing hers, and she grips it, her resolve a roaring inferno. This boy, this life is her triumph, a fierce claim no lie can unravel. Days grind on with a relentless rhythm, the farm a wild beast they tame together, wheat swaying under a scorching sky, cattle lowing in deep primal tones, the garden blooming with a fierce bounty that draws awed whispers from beyond the village. Suri charges through chores, her hands blistered as she hauls baskets and wrestles vines. Caleb at her heels, his tiny hands clutching apples he's plucked with a grin. She's his world, his fierce protector, and she pours every jagged shred of herself into him, teaching him to plant, to laugh, to thrive in the rugged haven she's built with Daniel. He calls her Mama, his voice a bright, unyielding chime, and each syllable sears into her, a fierce balm on the wounds Ethan's betrayal carved. Lila's war deepened. She kneels, pulling him close, her voice a steel vow. "You're mine, little man," and his giggle ignites her soul, a wild, unshakable bond that no past can fracture. Mornings erupt with their rituals, the kitchen a glowing battlefield where Suri storms through breakfast. Pancakes sizzling, coffee scalding, Caleb perched on a stool, his tiny fingers sticky with syrup. Daniel rumbles in, his grin rugged and warm, and they trade fierce, quiet glances, a love forged in grit, a family sealed by choice. She teaches Caleb the land, her hands guiding his to sow seeds, her voice fierce as she explains the earth's pulse. Ethan's scrawl once dreamed this, but she's made it real, her son's roots sinking deep into the soil she's claimed. He toddles beside her, his chatter a fierce melody. "Mama, look!" And she beams, her pride a roaring tide, every moment a fierce testament to the mother she's become. Blood be damned. Nights blaze with their closeness, the porch a rugged sanctuary under star-streaked skies where Suri cradles Caleb, his sleepy weight a fierce anchor grounding her. Daniel sits beside her, his steady hand tracing hers, and they watch the boy drift off, his breaths a soft, unyielding rhythm. She's fought for this, bled through Lila's claws, defied Ethan's lies, and now she's here, her love a blazing fortress no truth can breach. One dusk, Caleb stirs, his voice a faint, fierce whisper. "Mama, you're mine too?" And her chest tightens, tears scalding her eyes as she nods, her growl raw. "Forever, baby." The words rip free, a fierce, unshakable oath, and Daniel's grin softens, his arm pulling her close. A rugged triad, a family reborn in the fire of her relentless will. She storms through days, Caleb her fierce shadow, teaching him to climb fences, to chase chickens, his laughter a wild hymn echoing across the fields. The village watches, their rough nods sharp with respect. Jacob's gruff, "He's a spitfire." Clara's sharp, "Got your fight." And Suri's heart swells, a fierce pride roaring as she sees herself in his fearless grin, his stubborn streak. He's not Ethan's blood, Lila's lie stripped that, but he's hers, every inch, a fierce legacy she's forged with her own hands. She kneels one noon, his tiny arms looping her neck, and whispers, "You're my world." Her voice a steel blade cutting through doubt, his giggle a fierce spark lighting her soul. Challenges claw at them. The farm a relentless beast, storms shredding crops, cattle straying, her hands bleeding as she fights to hold it. Caleb trails her, his tiny boots splashing mud, his voice fierce. "I help Mama!" And she lifts him, her arms trembling, her love a roaring shield against the chaos. Daniel storms beside her, his steady hands steadying hers, and they battle together, a fierce unit unbowed by the grind. One night rain lashes the roof, thunder rumbling like a war drum, and Caleb clings to her, whimpering, "Scary, Mama!" And she pulls him close, her growl fierce. "I've got you!" Always on her heart a blazing furnace melting his fear, her strength a fierce bedrock he'll never doubt. Years surge forward, Caleb growing fierce and wild. 5 now, a rugged force darting through the orchard, his hands sticky with fruit, his laughter a fierce echo resounding across the farm. Suri watches, her chest heaving with a wild, unyielding love. She's his mother, not by birth, but by blood spilled in battle, by nights spent cradling him through fevers, by days forging a life from ruin. Daniel stands beside her, his grin rugged and proud. "He's ours." And she nods, tears stinging, her voice raw. "Mine first." The farm thrives, a fierce empire of grit and green, and Caleb's her fierce heart, a boy she's raised with a love no lie can shatter, a triumph she's claimed with every breath. Suri storms through the orchard, the sun blazing overhead like a fierce, unyielding torch, its golden rays searing the sprawling rows of apple trees and grapevines she and Daniel have wrested from the earth. Caleb races ahead, 6 now, a wild, relentless force, his boots pounding the dirt, his laughter a bright, untamed roar echoing through the farm's rugged heart. She pauses, her chest heaving, sweat streaking her face as she watches him. Her son, her fierce claim, forged not by blood but by a love so ferocious it's reshaped her soul. Daniel strides beside her, his steady hand brushing hers, his grin rugged and warm, and she grips it tight, her resolve a blazing inferno. Ethan's lies are dust, Lila's venom caged, and this life, this family, is her hard-won empire. Yet a strange, nagging shadow creeps in. Her body falters, a faint dizziness spinning her head, a queasy churn twisting her gut, and she shoves it down, her focus fierce on Caleb, until it strikes again, relentless, daring her to face it. Days grind on with a brutal rhythm, the farm a wild beast she battles alongside Daniel. Wheat swaying under a scorching sky, cattle lowing in deep, primal bellows, the garden bursting with a fierce bounty that draws awed whispers from beyond the village. Suri charges through chores, her hands blistered as she hauls baskets and wrestles vines. Caleb at her heels, his tiny hands snatching apples with a fierce grin. She's his rock, his fierce protector, pouring every jagged shred of herself into him, teaching him the land's pulse, his laughter a fierce spark igniting her days. But the dizziness crashes harder, a wild, unyielding wave. Mornings erupt with nausea, her stomach roiling as she grips the sink, her breath snagging in her throat. She snarls, shoving it aside. "Just tired." But Daniel's eyes narrow, his voice a steady growl. "You're off, Suri." And her gut twists, a fierce dread clawing free. She's known barrenness, a decade of empty prayers, and this can't be. She storms to town, her truck roaring down the dusty road. Caleb chattering beside her, her mind a chaotic tempest. Ethan's doctors branded her womb a wasteland, a cruel verdict she'd buried under Caleb's fierce claim. The clinic looms, a sterile specter, and she charges in, her boots slamming the tiles, her voice a fierce demand. "Check me!" The nurse flinches, her hands trembling as she draws blood, runs tests, and Suri paces, her heart thundering like a war drum. Fear and hope collide, a wild, reckless storm she can't tame. The doctor emerges, his face a quiet shock, his voice a faint rumble. "You're pregnant." The words detonate, shattering her world, and she staggers, her knees buckling as a fierce, Disbelieving sob rips free. How? He shrugs, his grin faint. Miracles happen, and she's reeling, her chest heaving with a wild, uncharted joy she can't grasp. She storms home, the truck screeching into the yard, Caleb bouncing beside her, her mind a blazing whirlwind. Pregnant, after years of barren despair, a fierce, impossible gift. Daniel's in the orchard, his hands steady as he stakes vines, and she charges toward him, her voice a raw, trembling roar. Daniel! He spins, his eyes narrowing, and she collapses into him, her sob fierce. I'm pregnant. The words rip free. A wild, unyielding truth, and he freezes, his breath snagging as shock crashes over his rugged face. What? He chokes, his voice a gravelly whisper, and she nods, tears scalding her cheeks. It's real. He surges forward, his arms engulfing her, a fierce, trembling embrace that shakes the earth, his laugh a raw, radiant burst. Holy hell, Suri! She clings, her heart thundering, a wild, unshakable joy roaring through her. Ethan's curse is broken, her body reborn, a fierce miracle blazing in her womb. They collapse on the porch, Caleb sprawled between them, the dusk igniting with stars as she grips Daniel's hand, her chest heaving with a fierce, trembling awe. This can't be undone, can't be stolen. She's carried Caleb through hell, claimed him against fate, but this is hers, theirs, a wild, living proof of a love forged in fire. Twins, the doctor warned, and her breath snags, a fierce, dizzying thrill. 2 lives, a double strike against her barren past. Daniel's grin widens, rugged and radiant. We're in deep now. And she laughs, a harsh, fierce sound, her soul soaring. 2 more, a fierce, unyielding expansion of her heart. Caleb stirs, his voice a faint, fierce chirp. Babies? And she pulls him close, her growl raw. Yeah, little man, your team's growing. His giggle lights her world, a fierce spark binding them tighter, a family reborn in this wild, impossible dawn. Weeks blaze forward, her body a fierce battleground. Nausea claws her mornings, her belly swelling with a wild, relentless force. But she storms through, her hands steady as she tends the farm, Caleb at her side. Daniel hovers, his steady hands easing her load, his voice a fierce growl. Rest, damn it! But she shoves back, her pride roaring. I'm not fragile. He relents, his grin warm, and they work. A fierce duo forging a future. Crib frames hammered, the orchard thriving, their love a blazing shield against doubt. The village buzzes, their rough cheers echoing. Jacob's hell of a twist, Clara's sharp, you beat the odds, and Suri's chest swells, a fierce pride roaring as she carries this miracle, her body a fierce testament to a strength she'd thought lost. Nights erupt with their closeness, the porch a rugged haven under star-streaked skies. Suri cradles Caleb, Daniel's arm a steady anchor, her belly a fierce, growing drumbeat of life. You're a wonder, he mutters, his voice a raw, trembling vow, and she grips his hand, tears stinging. We're a wonder. The twins kick, a wild, unyielding dance within her, and she gasps, a fierce, radiant joy surging. Ethan's verdict was a lie, her barrenness a ghost, and this family, this fierce, sprawling tribe, is her triumph. She storms through days, Caleb's chatter a fierce melody, Daniel's love a blazing light, her heart a wild, unquenchable fire burning for them all. A mother, a wife, a warrior reborn in a miracle's fierce embrace. Suri cradles her swollen belly, the orchard glowing under a fierce autumn sun, its golden rays igniting the sprawling rows of fruit-heavy trees she and Daniel have forged from the earth. Caleb races through the dirt, 6 now, a wild, relentless tornado, his boots kicking up dust as his laughter roars. A bright, untamed spark that pierces the farm's rugged pulse. She storms forward, her hands steady despite the fierce weight of the twins kicking within her, her heart thundering with a love so savage it threatens to burst her wide open. Daniel strides beside her, his rugged grin a steady anchor, his hand brushing hers with a warmth that roots her to this moment. Ethan's ghost is ash, Lila's venom caged, and this family, this fierce, sprawling clan, is her unyielding triumph. She's a mother reborn, a wife forged in fire, and now, with twins on the way, her world blazes brighter. A fierce, unshakable empire she's claimed with every breath. Months surge past, her body a wild battlefield. Labor crashes in like a tempest, fierce and unforgiving, her screams echoing through the sterile hospital as she grips Daniel's hand, her nails digging into his calloused flesh. The twins erupt into the world. Jasper, a boy with a fierce wail, and Lila May, a girl with a cry that cuts like a blade. 2 lives, a double miracle defying her barren past. She collapses, her chest heaving with raw, radiant exhaustion, tears scalding her cheeks as she clutches them, their tiny forms trembling against her. Hers, undeniably hers, a fierce, living proof of a love that's shattered fate. Daniel looms, his eyes wet, his voice a choked growl. "You're a damn wonder." And she laughs, a harsh, triumphant roar, her soul soaring as Caleb barrels in, his gasp fierce. "Babies!" And the room ignites, a wild, uncharted joy binding them into a clan of 5. They storm back to the farm, the air thick with autumn's crisp bite. Caleb darting ahead, Jasper and Lila May cradled in their arms as the village erupts. Jacob's booming cheer, Clara's sharp nod, a rugged chorus of awe and grit. Suri's boots pound the dirt, her heart thundering, a family, a fierce, sprawling tribe, and the farmhouse glows, a rugged sanctuary transformed by this fierce union. Inside, chaos reigns. Cribs creak, Caleb's chatter roars, the twins wailing in fierce harmony. But she thrives, her hands steady as she juggles bottles and diapers, her love a blazing shield against the grind. Daniel storms beside her, his steady hands easing her load, his grin radiant. "We're a damn circus." And she smirks, her pride a roaring tide, every cry, every laugh a fierce testament to the mother she's become, blood or not. Days blaze into a fierce rhythm, the farm a wild beast they tame as 5. Wheat bowing under a crisp sky, cattle rumbling in the distance, the garden bursting with a rugged bounty that draws rough praise from beyond. Suri charges through chores, her hands blistered as she hauls baskets, Caleb at her heels, his tiny arms lugging tools with a fierce grin. "I'm big now." Jasper and Lila May gurgle in their playpen, their fierce eyes tracking her, and she kneels, her voice a steel vow. "You're mine, all of you." Her heart a wild drum pounding for them. Daniel rumbles in, his hands steady as he lifts Caleb to prune vines, their laughter a fierce melody weaving through the fields. And she watches, her chest swelling, a fierce, unbreakable unit forged in love's relentless fire. Nights erupt with their closeness, the porch a rugged haven under star-streaked skies. Suri cradles Jasper, Lila May in Daniel's arms, Caleb sprawled between them, his chatter a fierce lullaby. "Tell me about Mama's fight," he demands, his voice a bright, unyielding chime, and she spills it. Ethan's lies, Lila's war, Caleb's rescue, her tone fierce, raw, her eyes blazing as he listens, wide-eyed. "You're tough, Mama," he mutters, his tiny hand gripping hers. And her throat tightens, tears stinging. Her son, her fierce heart, sees her scars as strength. Daniel's grin softens, his arm pulling her close. "We're tougher together." And she nods, her love a blazing fortress, a fierce legacy she's built from ruin. Challenges claw at them, the farm a relentless crucible. Frost bites crops, storms shred fences, her hands bleeding as she fights to hold it. Caleb storms beside her, his tiny boots splashing mud, his voice fierce. "I fix it, Mama." And she lifts him, her arms trembling, while Daniel steadies Jasper and Lila May. Their cries a fierce anthem against the chaos. They battle as 5. A wild, unyielding front, Suri's growl fierce. "We don't break." And they don't, their hands steady, their love a roaring shield that no storm can shatter. One dusk, the twins teeter, their first steps a fierce, wobbling dance. And Caleb cheers, his roar bright. "They're big like me." And Suri laughs, a harsh, radiant sound, her heart soaring. 3 fierce souls, her wild, uncharted tribe. Years surge forward, the farm a fierce empire. Caleb, 8 now, a rugged whirlwind hauling baskets, Jasper and Lila May, two toddling through rows, their laughter a fierce echo across the fields. Suri watches, her chest heaving with a wild, unquenchable love. She's their mother, Caleb by choice, the twins by miracle, a fierce trinity she's raised with a strength no past can fracture. Daniel stands beside her, his grin rugged and proud. "Look at us!" And she grips his hand, tears scalding. "We've built this." The stars blaze overhead, a fierce testament to her triumph, and she pulls them close. Her clan, her fierce, unbreakable heart, a family reborn in a love that's conquered all. A fierce peace with the past Suri stands in the orchard, the autumn dusk blazing with a fierce golden fury, its rays piercing the sprawling rows of fruit-heavy trees she and Daniel have wrested from the earth. Caleb races through the dirt, 8 now, a wild, relentless storm, his boots pounding as his laughter roars, a bright, untamed spark igniting the farm's rugged heart. Jasper and Lila May toddle behind, two and fierce, their tiny hands clutching apples, their giggles a fierce echo weaving through the air. She pauses, her chest heaving, sweat streaking her face as she watches them. Her children, her fierce, unyielding clan, forged in a love that's shattered every shadow. Daniel strides beside her, his rugged hand steadying hers, his grin a warm anchor, and she grips it tight, her heart thundering. A family reborn, a fierce empire she's claimed from ruin. Yet beneath the radiant triumph, Ethan's ghost flickers, a quiet ache she's buried, and she storms forward, her resolve a blazing vow to face it, to burn it away. Nights erupt with a fierce stillness, the porch a rugged sanctuary under star-streaked skies. Suri cradles Lila May, Jasper in Daniel's arms. Caleb sprawled between them, his chatter a fierce lullaby fading into sleep. She stares at the horizon, the farm glowing with their fierce legacy, and feels the past clawing. A jagged scar Ethan left, a wound Lila deepened, a betrayal she's carried too long. Her chest tightens, a wild, uncharted ache surging. Ethan's lies, his hidden shame, Caleb's stranger blood, and she grips the railing, her knuckles whitening as she wrestles it. "You okay?" Daniel rumbles, his voice a steady growl cutting through her storm, and she nods, her voice raw. "Just thinking." He doesn't push, his silence a fierce balm, but she knows. This ghost needs facing, a fierce reckoning to set her free. She storms to the shed one dawn, the air crisp with autumn's bite, her boots slamming the dirt as she unearths Ethan's journals, dusty relics scrawled with his guilt, his dreams, his faltering love. Her hands tremble, tearing pages as rage surges, a molten tide. His affair, his silence, the lie she'd fought for. And she snarls, hurling the book against the wall, its thud a fierce echo of her pain. "You broke me," she growls, her voice a jagged blade. But tears scald her cheeks, a fierce grief clawing free. He'd loved her, flawed and frail, and died under that weight. She collapses, her sob raw. "Why didn't you trust me?" And the shed swallows her cry, the silence a fierce judge. Daniel finds her, his steady arms engulfing her, his growl soft. "He's gone, Suri. Let him go." She clings, her heart thundering and nods, a fierce release, a ghost burned to ash. Days blaze with her peace, the farm a wild crucible she storms through. Wheat bowing under a crisp sky, the garden bursting with rugged bounty, her hands steady as she hauls baskets. Caleb at her heels, Jasper and Lila May giggling in their wake. She shed Ethan's shadow, her love for Caleb. Daniel, the twins of fierce, unyielding light. No blood ties define her, only the battles she's won, the family she's forged. She kneels one noon, Caleb's tiny hand in hers, and spills it, "You're mine, not his." Her voice a steel vow, his nod fierce. "Always, Mama." Her chest swells, a wild pride roaring. He's her son, her fierce heart, and no lie can fracture that. The village buzzes, their rough voices awed. Jacob's gruff, "You've beat it all." Clara's sharp, "Past's dust now." And Suri grins, her resolve a blazing shield, her family a fierce testament to her strength. She storms the fields, Daniel at her side, the twins toddling behind, Caleb darting ahead, and feels the weight lift, a fierce, unshakable peace settling in her bones. One dusk, she gathers them on the porch, the stars blazing like a fierce tribunal, and speaks, "We're us, no ghosts." Her voice raw, radiant, her love a roaring tide binding them. Daniel grips her hand, his grin steady. "You've won." And she nods, tears stinging, her heart soaring. Ethan's gone. Lila's a fading echo, and this is her triumph, a fierce clan reborn. Years surge on, the farm a fierce empire. Caleb, 10, a rugged whirlwind hauling vines. Jasper and Lila May, 4, chasing him with fierce giggles, their tiny hands sticky with fruit. Suri watches, her chest heaving with a wild, unquenchable love. She's their mother, Caleb by choice, the twins by miracle, a fierce trinity she's raised with a strength no past can shatter. Daniel stands beside her, his voice a steady rumble. "Look at what you've done." And she pulls him close, her growl fierce. "What we've done." The stars blaze above, a fierce salute to her peace, and she holds them, her clan, her fierce, unbreakable soul, a family forged in a love that's conquered all. Suri stands at the orchard's edge, the winter sun blazing low like a fierce, unyielding beacon, its golden rays slashing through the sprawling rows of bare, frost-kissed trees she and Daniel have carved from the rugged earth. Caleb charges through the icy dirt, 10 now, a wild, relentless whirlwind, his boots crunching the frozen ground as his laughter erupts. A bright, untamed spark that pierces the farm's quiet, steady hum. Jasper and Lila May dart in his wake, 4 and fierce, their tiny hands clutching sticks like swords, their giggles a fierce, echoing chime slicing through the crisp, biting air. She halts, her chest heaving, her breath steaming in the cold as she watches them. Her children, her fierce, unyielding legacy, forged in a love so ferocious it shattered every shadow of her past. Daniel strides beside her, his rugged hand brushing hers with a steady warmth that roots her to this moment. And she seizes it, her heart thundering. A family reborn. A fierce, steady haven she's wrested from the ashes of betrayal and ruin. Ethan's ghost is a fading wisp, Lila's venom a buried scar, and this life, this radiant, unshakable peace is her fierce, hard-won triumph. Days blaze with a fierce, steady rhythm, the farm a wild beast they've tamed with relentless hands, wheat slumbering beneath a blanket of snow, cattle lowing in deep primal tones that rumble through the frost, the garden resting with a rugged promise of spring's fierce bounty. Suri storms through chores, her hands calloused and raw as she hauls firewood and hammers barn planks, Caleb trailing her with a fierce grin, his small arms lugging logs. "I'm tough, Mama." Jasper and Lila May toddle behind, their tiny boots slipping on ice, their laughter a fierce, radiant spark that fuels her grind. She's their bedrock, their fierce beacon, pouring every jagged shard of her soul into them, teaching Caleb to split wood with a steady swing, Jasper to stack logs in tight rows, Lila May to sing bold tunes against the cold. Her love a blazing fortress no winter can crack. Daniel charges in, his steady hands hoisting the twins onto his shoulders, his voice a fierce rumble. "We're a damn team." And she nods, her pride roaring like a wildfire, a fierce, steady clan thriving under her unyielding care. Mornings ignite with their warmth, the kitchen a glowing stronghold against the chill. Suri storms through breakfast, pancakes sizzling on the griddle, coffee scalding her throat, Caleb perched at the table, his chatter a fierce torrent. "I'll build a snow fort today." Jasper and Lila May giggle in their chairs, syrup streaking their fierce, rosy faces, and she grins, her heart pounding with a wild, steady pulse that binds them tight. Daniel rumbles through the door, his grin radiant as the dawn, and they lock eyes. A love forged in grit, a family sealed by relentless choice. She kneels, wiping sticky hands with a fierce tenderness, her voice a steel vow. "You're my everything." And their cheers explode, a wild, unshakable joy she's clawed from the wreckage of her past. The farm rests outside, a rugged empire of their making, and she feels it. Ethan's betrayal burned to dust. Lila's war, a distant, vanquished echo. This is her sanctuary, her fierce, steady victory. Nights blaze with their closeness. The porch, a rugged refuge beneath a sky streaked with fierce, icy stars. Suri cradles Lila May, her small form warm against her chest. Jasper nestled in Daniel's lap. Caleb sprawled beside them, his voice a fierce, sleepy whisper. "Tell me about the stars again, Mama." She unleashes tales, galaxies clashing in fiery wars, constellations burning with ancient, unyielding light, her tone raw, radiant, her eyes glinting as they listen, rapt and wide-eyed. "They're like us," she growls, strong, steady, unbeatable. And Caleb nods, his tiny hand gripping hers with a fierce trust. "Like you, Mama." Her throat tightens, tears scalding her eyes. Her children, her fierce, beating heart. See her scars as constellations, her battles as a blazing sky. Daniel's arm snakes around her, his rumble soft and steady. "You've built this, Suri." And she grips his hand, her love a roaring tide. A fierce, steady peace she's sculpted from the rubble of her past. The village hums with their presence, their rough voices a warm undercurrent. Jacob's gruff, "You've got a hell of a brood." Clara's sharp, "This is your kingdom now." And Suri storms through the days, her resolve a blazing shield, her family a fierce testament to her unbowed strength. She watches Caleb haul logs with a fierce, steady rhythm. Jasper chase the chickens with a wild grin. Lila May dance in the snow with fearless glee and feels the past dissolve. A fierce, steady calm sinking deep into her marrow, a peace no shadow can fracture. One dusk, they gather by the fire, the flames crackling with fierce, golden fury, and she pulls them close, her voice raw, unyielding. "We're forever, you hear me?" Her heart soaring as their small arms wrap around her, a fierce, steady clan thriving in the radiant glow of her love. Daniel's grin steadies her, his hand warm. "We're unbreakable." And she nods, her soul alight. Ethan's gone. Lila's a whisper. And this is her fierce, steady haven, a life reclaimed, a victory won with every breath. If you find this story interesting and want to see more touching, tense, but meaningful situations, don't forget to subscribe to our channel today. Leave a comment with your thoughts. Share this story with your friends and remember to like the video so we can stay motivated to bring you more great and meaningful content. Thank you for watching and supporting us.